So let's play devil's advocate there, just to throw grenades in the mix early. And coaching, I think, has a historical, or let's say a tradition, where the coach is perceived to be in control, right? And this concept of control for me is one of these really fascinating kind of areas that perhaps hasn't been explored enough in coaching as a concept. So the idea that the coach is the fountain of knowledge, the idea that the coach leads or sets a culture. There might be some out there that go, well, actually, as a coach, that's my job. Like, I need to be there to teach and to do these things. So are there risks around going too far towards athlete ownership? And where's that balance in terms of coach perhaps setting expectations and athletes having ownership of the environment? So happy for either of you to chime in, because I want to just test you, I guess, on the spot early doors.
Oh, I love a grenade. So I think if we think about coaching and we think about the innate, we play sport, there's a winner and a loser. There's competition at stake. And, you know, in the school teams and I can see there's a few representative coaches there. Organisations might hang their hat on, winning that national title or winning the regional title. My husband helped out with Napier Boys First 15 last year, and I was at Napier Girls, and, both our teams went reasonably well. But there was a fine line between ownership from the players and them owning and having a voice versus them just wanting to sometimes come to training, shut out their stresses of the day, and they call me Reese, sorry, same person for the audience out there, and just wanting you to give them a bit more direction. So you've got to be really skillfully craft as a coach at the start of the week, what training sessions where you maybe give a little bit more direction, give a little bit of clarity of what they're needing so that they can get the confidence when they go out there and play the game. At the end of the day, they want to play the game. But most of them just want to play. Yeah. So how can we help them do that in a way that has an amazing experience, that they get confidence, that they develop the skills? And it's a real art to what to do when. I think, Grant, you kind of talked to know your players. That's where you've got to be present as a coach. Every training, every game, you've got to come into training, dump what you've done the day, and the first time I met you in that beautiful farm down south and that beautiful background, we've got to dump our working days and come into the coaching environment, and it's not always easy to do.
Yeah, no, I agree. It is a privilege to coach, right? So it is a priority on the day to make sure you're going to look after these kids. I also think it's really key that sometimes you have to lead them to where you want to take them as well, because some kids naturally they kind of might know where they want to go, but it's not necessarily a direction it's a good one. So you're right, there is a skill in being able to lead them and hope that you can grow them by way of just letting them sort of make some mistakes, go down a wrong path, bring them back onto task and bring them online. And that's where if you set those goals at the start of the season and they're something that you keep living, it might be every game. You just look at one of those values that you're trying to outlive. It could be just respect for this week. We're looking at respect, and that's just keep living those goals. And also, it's really interesting that if culture is always changing, right? So you might change halfway through the season and say, actually, let's reset some of these things. That's okay as well. You don't have to just keep going down that same path if it's not working.
Yeah, I love that one, Grant, around change. And I think we've got the point on screen around modeling, right? So as coaches, we're going to have bad sessions. As coaches, we're going to get things wrong. And if we can model the behavior of going, actually, team, I've planned something today and it hasn't really gone well. I've tested saying it didn't work, but thanks for putting in the effort. We're going to tweak it next time and it'll be better. Then suddenly we're modeling that behavior of vulnerability and being able to change on the run. So for me, currently working with some players at the moment, I've found that often when we get into a Q&A context, it's a very one-way street. And I've reiterated to them that I'm not going to tell them how to play the game. I'm going to encourage them to make decisions and learn through playing and put themselves in challenging positions where they are stressed or they're challenged. And I think it's really important that we encourage the dialogue, because Q&A is such an awkward one, particularly with teenage boys, right? A lot of them just don't want to speak up, or they don't want to say the wrong thing to the coach or in front of their mates. So have you got any stories, Charissa, I'll go back to you, around either where you've been in a position to model those kind of vulnerabilities, and just to tie into the point really around setting standards, what role do you think the coach has there as we build towards game day?
Yeah, I think as you build towards game day, or game day is probably another conversation at the moment, but kind of what, as coaches, how we are at trainings and how we are at games should be one and the same.
Yep.
And finding that level playing field. And I'll hand on heart say that I have not always done that in coaching. Game day, I keep talking back to this old me of coaching back in the day, where you shift and you think you've got this little bubble in game day, but actually game day is just an extension of training.
Yeah.
I had a situation 3 or 4 years ago. Went back to Napier Girls coaching again, and they were so quiet. I asked them all these questions. We were doing a debrief. I thought I had it all sorted out. We'd established our values, and they were silent. I could get not one word out of them. And I went away from that training, drove home. It takes about 40 minutes to get home from training, and thought, I haven't nailed this. What have I done wrong? I am not connected to these players. I've got to go back and start again. So the start of the next training, I just had to say, look, that's my fault. I buggered that up. Like if I can't have a conversation back and forth, and it's not live, and we're always learning, and like you talk about the campfire conversations, we're around the campfire talking all the time. Then as a coach, it's me. I need to change tact. What do I need to do? So I sent them a Google form. They were so silent, they weren't going to tell me. And I really want you to be honest, so we can grow and learn together. I'll never forget the awkward. A couple of parents sitting upstairs waiting to pick up their kids from training, and actually my daughter was in the team as well. It was her first year with her mother as a coach at senior A level, and never felt so uncomfortable in my life. And really important to say that, hey, look, I'm getting to know you as a group. I can't expect that I've had this many years of coaching that I can come in and I know better than the athletes in front of me. No matter how long you've been coaching, you're always learning. You're learning with that group in front of you.